Well, what is there to say about today? It's 8 o'clock. I've been at the campsite here for a couple of hours now, which is really nice actually. I ended up cutting the day a bit short because it was so hot, and I've been chatting with a guy on warm showers about staying with him tomorrow night. So I wasn't really in a rush to get to Strasbourg, which is where he is. It's only about, I think, 60 k's from here. So yeah, basically could take my time today, and I'll be staying the following night with a friend of a friend that I met when I was in Alice Springs, actually back in July, June. I think it was June. Eric, he's a German guy who was on a motorbike trip through Australia with his girlfriend, and George and I met him at the campsite, and seemed like a really good guy. Anyway, he lives pretty close to Luxembourg, so he gave me his contact details, and I messaged him the last couple of days, and he's still in Australia actually, but he's got a friend who lives in a place called Obernai, I think it is, which is just actually exactly en route where I'm going. So I've been chatting with him now. I'm going to try and stay with him the night after tomorrow, which again is quite close to Strasbourg. So I don't really have any huge rush to get anywhere in the next couple of days, which is good because it's been really hot. It's been really hot and just super draining. And yeah, so today, it started as it usually does, with me trying to pack up my tent and make sure it wasn't too wet. I had some coffee before I left, but I didn't have any food, so I actually that's not true. I went and got some food that I had ordered the night before, because the campsite actually bakes fresh bread every morning if you put your order in. So I got some croissants and a baguette, so I was feeling very French this morning. I ate the two croissants straight away, and that was awesome because they were delicious and fresh. There's nothing better than a fresh croissant. And then I was ready to set off into the sun, and kind of tackled the day. I was feeling really good in the morning, and it was really quite beautiful riding along the river, to be honest. So I didn't really have any complaints. It was the sun was still on the pre-noon phase, I guess. So it was I was in a bit of shade, which was really nice. So riding along the river was quite bearable, until I got to a point where there was just a big gate in front of the path, and there was some kind of works happening on the path. There was a big sign saying you can't go, and I could have gone around it, but I didn't want to risk riding a few kilometers and then realizing that the path was just destroyed and there was no way to get through. So I ended up taking a diversion, and went kind of up on the highway for a while with all the cars, which wasn't great, and then ended up ducking through this little forest path, which turned quite gravelly and almost forward drive track-ish, which was really fun actually. And I got to the end of that, and it kind of took me back to the path along the canal that I had been following, and I stopped basically back at the canal, and I was about to just have a bit of a break when a young guy came riding up the canal, up the way that was blocked, and he stopped and we had a bit of a chat. And so he was, I thought he was French, but he was actually a German guy, pretty young, I guess a couple of years younger than me maybe, on his own solo trip. And so we chatted for a while, seemed like a nice guy. Um, and then we decided I was going to stay and he was going to go, so he left. And after about 5 minutes, I left as well, and I continued for a bit longer, and then eventually, another couple of kilometers down the road, I came to a big kind of like overpass bridge, which was like kind of some stairs and then like a pass and then going back down to get to the other side of the canal. And I got there and I just kind of laughed and shook my head because I couldn't believe who would design this kind of thing, because it was on a bike path, so whoever was riding there had to now like push their bike up the stairs and then down the other side. It just seemed kind of cruel, and it was very, very hot at this point as well, and absolutely no shade. And as I got there, I looked over and I could see the German guy that I had just met kind of pushing his bike, or like trying not to drop his bike down the other side. And he kind of called over to me, and we were both laughing, and he helped me bring my bike over to the other side, which was really nice. And so we chatted for a bit further, and he's actually just taken a year off his job as well, and he's on his own kind of trip. He's going down to Portugal on his nice new Kona Sutra, which was looking very shiny. And he was doing a bit of like volunteering on the way as well, so a bit of work away, staff volunteering at like farms and stuff for a couple of weeks, and then moving on to the next place. So traveling a bit slower than me, which he can because he's a European citizen. And so we ended up cycling together for probably half an hour or so, and he was a really nice guy. I think his name was Yen, I believe it was, or Jens. It was, he was a bit unsure of how to introduce himself. I guess he has a bit of a strange French name or German name that I probably wouldn't have remembered. So he gave me a bit of a nickname, and I've forgotten that as well. So sorry. And so we did cycle together for a while, but turns out he was going a different direction to a place called Nancy, which is in France. So he ended up basically turning around and going back the way that we had come, and I pressed on, and the sun was just beating down on me for most of the day, and ended up stopping. I found a supermarket around 1 o'clock, which was awesome because I had basically no food. So I did a big shop there. I bought a whole tub of ice cream because that was the smallest one I could find. And then when I found a table somewhere in the shade, I sat and I had a bit of a feast around 2 o'clock and ate a lot of ice cream. And that kind of gave me the energy to keep going, although there were some hills to go up and the sun was just relentless. So I ended up just lying down and having a bit of a, not a nap, but just a bit of a rest out of the sun around 5 o'clock because, I was in no rush, and eventually managed to get up and cycle my way down the hill and to this nice little campsite that I'm at now. So it was nice to get here. I got here around 6 o'clock, so still plenty of sunlight. Was able to do a few maintenance jobs on the bike, adjust my saddle a little bit, just chill out, which has been good. So I'll cook dinner now, and then I don't know, do something else, maybe do some reading or something. Tomorrow I'll continue to Strasbourg and maybe stay with David, who is a nudist apparently, so that could be interesting. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. There's lots of mosquitoes here. Yeah, that's kind of it for today.